Rings fans in the room? Just curious. Well, we have some friends that we're gonna bring up on stage to say hello. This first person, he is an elf who is so good that he could shoot a breathing dwarf in the dark. It's Craig Parker!
And this next one, she's the slayer of the Witch King. She is no man. Miranda, Otto!
A brave and true son of Gondor, David Wenham.
And of course, our fool of a took, Billy Boy!
Many faces of Middle-earth. He's been dwarves, he's been ringwraiths, he's been orcs. Jed Brophy.
And last but certainly not least, the Dark Lord himself, Sauron, Sala Baker!
Hide your rings, hide your rings!
Have a seat to our lovely cast. We've got waters for each of you, mics for each of you.
Sit down. Welcome to Orlando, everyone. We're so thrilled that you're here. So I'm going to start things off. I would like to hear about highest points of production, lowest points, most difficult from each of you.
All right, I'll start.
Answer is C.
To me, one of the highest points of production was being on top of Mount Sunday, both geographically and emotionally. That was such an amazing location where we shot Edoras, and to wake up in the car when I was being driven to work in the dark, and then as the sun came up to see Edoras up on the hill and that incredible view. I highly recommend, if you ever get the chance to go to New Zealand, do go down and take a look at that amazing location. That was a huge high point, and that incredible set that was built there. Low point to me was actually leaving. It was so sad. It was just before Christmas, and like we'd had this huge party, and I was just on such a buzz from the whole thing. But to think that we had actually finished was like really sad, that we were all about to leave Middle Earth. But never mind, we came back a few times for reshoots.
Overall, it was a specific time. The thing that blew me away every time I would come down and see these guys who were working their asses off every day, and I would just come in for a bit, but was every department that fed into what was going to go onto screen. So every time you were given a new prop, or you had a fitting, or you walked into a new set that had been built, the detail and the love and the craftspersonship of everything you touched. So nothing on our costumes was machine sewn. Everything was hand stitched. The leather was made. The steel was made. Everything was people who were the best at what they do, doing their best, because there was such a sense of love for this project. And that blew me away every time. It's just, we got to be at the end of a production line of love and skill and brilliance. So, and I think it shows in the films. You see that loveliness. And there were no bad points at all.
For me, and we've talked about this before, for me, that day at Pellinor Fields with Bernard Hill, rousing 300 extras who were extras, brought their own horses, and those of us that were lucky enough to be cast on the horses that day, it's like there was no acting required. We were so inspired to ride to death and glory, and you know, for me, it's one of the highlights of. It's something I'll never get to do in my career again. Is gallop with 300 horses, and be on that massive plain with these people who were just so lifted by this one person who was our king on the day. And again, the low point, the day we found out that on The Hobbit we weren't coming back to do reshoots for a year, even though Peter said he'd see us next year. They wouldn't allow us to come back and do the stuff for the Battle of the Five Armies. So that was. You know, that was not a great way to sign off, unfortunately, but yeah, there you go.
I'm going to borrow one from each of them. My high point was similar. Faramir essentially riding out to his death and being surrounded by all those people on horses as well. It was pretty epic, actually. No acting required. It's the same low point. Finishing Adventure Comes to an End. The final wrap, that's the low point.
For me, it was obviously, when the film came into town, it was quite a huge thing, and being cast in it was amazing. But not knowing everyone, and then for the next 19 months, we basically traveled together as like a circus. And it turned into a family circus because we basically just went from one town to another town, and we just all became a family. And then the downside of that was, you know, like Miranda said, leaving. But then the high point of that was getting to be able to do these things and catch up with everyone years later, and then seeing the people who support us every time and every single Comic-Con we come to. It allows us to keep doing what we love doing. So it's a big, you know, kind of appreciation to you guys as the fans who help us do what we do. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I think there was so many high points, as everyone says, but if, just to pick one today, I would say having the chance to work so closely with Ian McKellen when we got to Minas Tirith, and that was a real treat to spend days with Ian, which was really fun. Low point, outside Moria, when it was raining and the water getting into my feet and it was freezing. And that was, I still have nightmares about that.
You didn't go to Helm's Deep though, did you?
Night shoots.
I heard stories, that was enough.
3 months of night shoots.
There was this, sorry, butting in, but there was a moment of, so because I would, again, come and go, it didn't suffer as, but 3 months of everyone working on it, sleeping in the day, working at night, freezing cold, middle of winter, outside, Arctic winds coming in, just horrible. And when it rained, you couldn't shoot. You had to wait for the rain towers, but the rain towers had frozen, so the water was colder than ice when it fell. All of the happy stuff. And totally blanked.
You were great though, Craig. You were great in the middle.
Very interesting story, Craig.
Helm's Deep.
So what Craig was trying to say was that Sauron was such a great character that he wanted to sit next to me. Was that it, Craig? Oh, damn it.
I know. It's one of these nights, and I'm like, much less now, I'm grumpy now, but back in the day I'd be like, on set, just talking to everyone. No, what do you do? I know, that's nice. Oh, no, try to, keep everyone's spirits up. And I'm wandering around, and there's a whole lot of sort of the background people, and the war is, underway, and there's a guy sitting against the wall on the ground like this, and it's bloody stump dripping out of his leg, and I come up and go, oh, look at you, isn't that wonderful? Isn't prosthetics great? And he just went, it's not prosthetics. And they found people with amputees and missing limbs and things to be victims. And there's me going, oh look, isn't it clever how they made your leg? Where is it? And he's going, I don't know where it is now. It's a long time ago, gone. That was a happy moment. I just went back to my elves and shut up.
Haldir, ladies and gentlemen.
Speaking of Ian McKellen, I think with Jed here, we can be with Ian McKellen, technically.
He does a great Ian McKellen impression. I've heard it a few times.
It's very, very true. Lovely to see you all here, my little friends, the hobbits, and lovely to see Faramir again, and there's lovely Eowyn, and can't remember your name. And of course, my neighbour, the Dark Lord. And at the end of filming You Are the Hobbit, Ian heard me doing his impersonation, and he said to me, "You're the only person allowed to do me." And I do mean do me. Thank you, Ian.
So, how often do you all revisit the films?
I just did it a month ago. My wife hadn't really seen it, so we had watched the trilogy, and then we watched The Rings of Power, and then we watched The Hobbits. And it was just like, of course I'm biased to the trilogy, just because of, you'll never see a film made like that ever again, of that magnitude and without AI, and it was, you know, we had sets that were massive, you know, Minas Tirith, we had Helm's Deep, and it was just one of those things that you will never see again. So, you know, that was, for me, just wonderful. Except for Craig.
My son had never seen them. He's 19, and he went on a skiing trip with his friends, and one of his friends was a fan of The Rings, and they watched the first two, and he came home and he said, "They're really good." And it just happened they were showing Return of the King in the theatres, so we went. I thought, "Oh, you should watch the Return of the King in the theatres." So we went, me, my son, and my wife, and just sat at the back and watched it, and it was brilliant to watch it. I hadn't seen it. I don't know. I probably haven't seen it since the premiere. And to sit in a movie theatre, it was brilliant. And my son, he loved it. And nobody knew there was a Hobbit in there. I was just...
Did anyone see you and notice you?
No.
Oh, that's
I just...
I guess you're not expecting a Hobbit.
And it was the Alamo Draft House, so you could, you know, get something to eat and all that. And we're sitting having chicken wings. It was the extended, it was about 18 hours or something. But it was brilliant. It was great to see. I hadn't seen it, you know, and it was great to share it with my son that way, the way it's supposed to be seen, you know.
Did you consciously never show it to him? Or?
No, there was no sort of...
He just went, "I don't want your dumb show, Dad."
Yeah, it was never really spoken about, or I don't know. It just kind of passed by.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Actually, my daughter is 20 and she's never seen it. And I think it started out because she watched, one time I was making a film and there was a scene in it and she was quite little, and I went to have a shower and they'd sent me a copy of the film to look at, and she saw this scene and it was somebody not turning up for my birthday. And I came out of the bathroom and she was just absolutely sobbing and saying they didn't turn up for your birthday. And so after that, I thought like, oh, she's so emotionally invested in me that I didn't really want to show her a lot of films because she'd think it was me and not a character. And then it's kind of just drifted on. And I haven't seen the films since we premiered. I haven't seen them. Like, occasionally they'll come on TV and like you turn on and it'll be halfway through a battle and I'll watch a bit, but it's not from the beginning. But I would love to go back to the cinema and see it in the cinema. I would love to see the extended version in the cinema. So I think for the 25th anniversary I should do that.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah, we should go together.
Yeah, we should.
Let's have a screening. Where will we have it?
All of us.
The Alamo Draft House. All of us. Billy's paying.
Chicken wings on Craig.
No, I haven't seen it since the premiere either, so I'm waiting to the 25th when we all go to the cinema together.
Someone's just got to organise it. Ring Pete.
I've
Best to organise.
at the Roxy Cinema in Wellington, they have all 6 of the extended films. They play them back to back as a marathon. And because I'm silly enough to have been in all of them, I went one year to introduce all the films, and it's 22 hours of sitting, watching other people's performances.
What I've done is I've just edited everyone else out. It's great. It's a very quick film, but very good.
Especially that long death scene. Would you like me to recreate his death scene?
Yes, yes.
Die again.
That was the one where Pete said, "Just die." he just dies.
Haldir lives.
Eric, what about you?
What was the question?
I feel like we just rewatched the movies, if ever.
Oh, I haven't. I feel really bad. We're all saying this, but I haven't seen it for a very long time. And I think the final one, the last time I saw was the Berlin thing, and it was super fancy, and it was so exciting. It was winter in Berlin. We had champagne, and there's a reception, and then we go and we sit down and we're watching it. And it's beautiful. I haven't seen the film, and it's lovely, and there's beautiful singing and great performances, but we're all in fancy dress and we've been drinking champagne, and I need to pee so bad. I think I've gone halfway through the film and when Treebeard was talking. Came back, he still was talking. When it had another pee, he's still talking. When it had dinner, came back, he's still talking. Anyway, and so it comes to the end, and I go, oh great, it's the end. No, I'm fine. And then there's 15 endings. And your bladder gets programmed to sort of know when the film's about to end, so you're going, yeah, I can survive this. And I'm literally sitting there going, we're all surrounded, the mayor of Berlin is there, and there's all these fancy people, and we're all dressed up, and I am literally going to piss myself. And I can't leave to go and have a wee now because it's the end of the film. And then there's you guys back at the Shire, and then there's more elves getting on boats, and it's just like, fuck off!
So is that why you haven't seen it since then?
That's why I haven't seen it. I've just been in constant rehabilitation for my bladder.
So New Zealand, as Middle-earth, practically served as a character in the movies itself. I would like to know, what was your favorite location, whether it's in New Zealand or whether it's Middle-earth, what was your favorite set location that you got to be a part of?
I'd have to say Edoras done at Mount Sunday. That's my favourite location, and probably my favourite set on the Wellington sets was inside the Golden Hall. I love that one.
Very quick, I don't even know what really it plays in the film, but it's some bit where we're walking through Lothlorien or somewhere, and we were in a forest down in Southland that was the birch forest, and there's green moss on the ground that's like a foot thick, and there's tiny black robins dancing through the birds, and it's a primordial, beautiful beech forest, and it was one of the most magical places I've ever been. We were there for 2 days. I think that's where Viggo would, on the Friday, just went, I'll see you on Monday. And the crew were going, what? He says, I'm just going to stay here. And he literally wandered into this forest with a blanket. And you could see them all going, without you, we don't have a film. If a bear eats you, we're screwed. And there are no bears in New Zealand. So, but yeah, it was just this magical spot.
Yeah, there was a lot of special places like that. When we came out of Moria, we're at the top of a mountain. I forget the name of it.
Enslow Burn.
And you weren't allowed any people on there, right?
Yeah.
And they got special disposition to have like a very, very skilled crew, like one makeup, one wardrobe, the actors, and that was it. And the helicopter us up there. We had to wait about a week for the weather to break, that we could go up there, and we went up and with packed meals, just a sandwich, and that really felt incredibly special because it was just us in costume, and it felt real. We were on top of a mountain eating a sandwich with Aragorn. It felt, it felt like we were the Fellowship. So that was a really special place. What was that called again?
Enslow Burn. Yeah, the glacier comes down and drops down into that
Yeah, beautiful.
I got to be one of the black riders, and we did a day in at Skipper's Canyon, and we got to ride the horses into Skipper's Canyon and then ride them out in a blizzard. In fact, we got woken up at 4 in the morning because the horses were trapped in there in a blizzard and they had no covers. So the helicopter illegally flew 2 feet above the river to get us in there. And then we rode out, and I could see David in front of me, but that's as far as I could see. And that was an amazing place. It's an old kind of gold mining community, and the Shotover River travels all the way in there. And you can only get in there by one road. Yeah, it was just 400 feet down into the river, and it was just so spectacular. And riding out of there was probably the most dodgy thing I've ever done in my life. Dodgy, not like stealing stuff, that's dodgy as, but this was even more dodgy because the horses were kind of crazy. And there's this big drop down there. But yeah, that was the place I liked the most.
So for me, it was in Queenstown when we had, just before Boromir sounds the horn, and then Viggo says, Boromir! And then you see that firefox of a camera shot where he runs up the mountain and he starts killing all the Uruk-hai on his way past the trolls in the forest, and he finds Boromir after Lurtz has just killed him. And then we have the mayhem of all the Uruk-hai that are dead, which is us, all the stunt guys have just fought Boromir, and then Viggo comes in and saves him. Now, it was one of the most beautiful scenes I'd ever watched, to see Viggo just let it all out with that scene of Boromir as he takes his gauntlets. And there was not one dry eye. Even the toughest VFX guys there, we were all like crying. The worst part about that is, as Viggo's delivering his speech, we were all dead. Right? As the Uruk-hai. And the scene went on and on. And if you watch back in the film, you'll see one of the Uruk-hai just... We were like, oh, he's still alive. It was like 2 or 3 of us that started snoring. And then it was like, oh. So it kind of ruined the whole thing, but it was kind of the coolest scenes to do, and then like try and be in the scene, and like it was brilliant. That set was just amazing. So that was it for us.
We're all going to watch the film tonight now.
Star Wars has the headbang. We're going to have the...
It's there.
My favourite place, really tricky. Well, yeah, I am. I'm going to say Twizel. Slightly strange place, I've got to say, but it was the location for Pelennor Fields, and that was pretty special, so I'll say that. And then also very special place that I know Miranda used to go to a lot was this wonderful place in Wellington called the Matterhorn. Which was,
we love the horn.
Yeah, it was the horn that matters, the Matterhorn.
It's gone now.
Yeah, it was a bar in Wellington that provided us with lots of
weekend
fun
activities.
Times. Yeah.
Libation.
I do remember we used to go all the time, and we'd run into each other whenever you went there. And I remember the bouncer one night saying, as we were trying to get in, "I don't care if you're the Hobbit, you're not coming in. We're full."
The Gandalf's inside.
Me and Dom had to do a weather cover in Twizel. This is so if they're filming something outside, and they were filming Frodo and Sam doing something, walking probably. And, they needed weather cover. If it rained, they could film something inside. So they got me and Dom and they said, "Look, could you come down for weather cover? Probably don't need you. The weather's supposed to be great, but we want you guys in town." And we said, yeah, totally. They said, "We'll get you a nice house and put you up." And they put us up in this lovely house, gave us a car. I think there was some pipe weed, and there was definitely wine. And me and Dom spent this like 10 days together living in a house, and nobody came to see us or anything. And we made movies about it. This is honestly. And we'd watch all these great double acts, Laurel and Hardy and all these different people, and we'd just drink wine all day and surprise each other. One morning I got up and I came downstairs and he's naked smoking a pipe next to the fire. And we've got movies of this, and we've watched the tapes. Yeah, it's been talked
Of course
about.
you have.
We can't find the tapes. And there's 10 days of us this lost week in Twizel.
Dom
There's a
has
trilogy
the
in
tapes.
that.
Dom has shown us
the
the tapes.
I think President Putin might have those.
I remember there was another moment where he's filming me and he says, just run up to there for, I can't remember what it was. And I just kept running. And then I just thought, I'm not going to go back. So I just ran and like I went to a pub or something. And then I went back that night.
I just want to tell you a
Was he
little
still
bit.
filming?
It might still be filming. We don't know. Oh God.
So
yeah,
the town they're talking about is Twizel, and it's this little town that has no hotels. And so what we had to do was basically ask all the locals to leave their houses. So they would put 5 stunt guys in one house, 6 stunt guys, the cast and crew, and so it was a field that had this tiny little town that we had to kick everyone out for a few weeks to shoot these scenes, and they didn't know that we were going to go through all of their belongings. It was awesome.
Only the Dark Lord would do that.
I see you.
So at this point, we're going to open up some questions to you guys. Now, we can't get everybody, of course, but we're going to do our best. Tyler's going to go to one side. I'll come to the other. Tyler, you can go first.
All right, over here. How are you? Milady.
Hi, this question is actually for Billy. I had a question about Edge of Night, and I kind of wanted to know what your process was for, I'm not sure what hand you had in the production or coming up with the melody, but I know it's a walking song, so could you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, it came from, strangely enough, it came from karaoke. We didn't really do karaoke as I remember it. There wasn't many karaoke nights that I was at anyway. But one night we went to dinner. And
It was
went
at
to
the Steamboat.
karaoke.
It's called the Steamboat where we went to.
Was it?
Yeah, it was in
So it was
Wellington.
after dinner, and
Yeah.
I got up and I sang a couple of like Tom Jones songs, and one of the writers was with us at dinner, and she went back. It was Philippa Boyens went back and said we should get Billy to sing in the film, and they had this the walking song, and Howard Shore was supposed to do the music obviously, but they changed the filming dates. And they said, you write music, right? And I was like, yeah. He said, well, we're filming it in 2 days. Could you do something? And I was like, oh, yeah. And I remember being in the house and thinking, we'd sort of made it that the Tooks were kind of the Scottish of the Shire. So I thought it'd be something Celtic. So I wrote like 3 different melodies, and I went to Pete's house and sang them, and everybody agreed, Fran and Philippa and Pete, that we'd do the one that's in the movie. And then the next day we went and filmed it, and it sort of happened really fast. But then there was wind machines and all that in the day of filming, so we had to reshoot it. And the day they were going to, not reshoot it, just do the ADR, the vocals again. And it was the day after we did the video game. So my voice was gone. So they couldn't record it again. And they said, oh, we'll catch it up at some other time. And I was in London, and they said, oh, Howard's Abbey Road. Could you go down and just sing it down there? And all the orchestra was there. And you know how it happens all fast with an orchestra? They're so good, they just read it. And so I'm listening to all this music getting played, And then they said, okay, Billy, could you go in? And, you know, it's a cappella. And I'm just looking like this. And I'm like, okay. And then I sang it once. And they went, yep, that's great. And I was like, oh, whoa. I mean, I've played in bands. I'd like to do this like 50 times or something, you know? So I only sang it twice. And they're like, yep, good. You know the way orchestras just, they don't do it over and over. And then I spent the rest of the day just looking around Abbey Road and all the pianos and all the Beatles stuff still there.
So ladies and gentlemen, Billy Boyd. We've got a question from a hobbit right over here.
Hello. I just want to know, what is your favorite souvenir that you have from set?
I didn't take anything.
On The Hobbit, my character is a thief, and Peter Jackson said that if I could steal stuff on camera, I could keep it. So every set I was on, I tried to steal something while the camera was rolling. But the best thing I got was when we were singing Misty Mountains, I start with my back to where the camera is, and so I got one of Bilbo's pipes. And I put it in my jacket. I got the costume people to put little pockets in my coat. And I got it, and because I did it on camera, and because the boss said that was the gig, I got to keep it. I got some candelabra and some salt and pepper shakers from Rivendell. I got 48 pieces of gold from Trollshaw. And I got some jewelry from the counting house. And I got a horse, which I put in my pocket.
All right, up next.
So the greatest Lord of the Rings scholar, Stephen Colbert, is ending next year. Do you guys think for the 25th anniversary that you guys would do a reprisal rap video like you did the 3 trilogy?
With everybody.
I mean, Stephen Colbert is amazing. He's an amazing guy, a really lovely human being. So, and a huge fan of Lord of the Rings. He reads a part of it every day. Every day he reads some of it. So I wouldn't be surprised for the 25th if he does something. I hope he does. I hope he does.
Is it really? It's the next year's the 25th.
25th, yeah, of the first one, I think.
That's crazy.
We've got one right here.
Oh, hi. Thank you all for being here, and I don't know if you're allowed to say this, but will you all be part of the new movie that Andy Serkis is working on?
Well, I think some very naughty wizard has already spoiled a few of those recently.
I'm sure Jed will be in it. He's in everything else.
I can neither confirm nor deny anything. I don't know. Even if we were, we probably wouldn't say.
Yeah, we can't say anything.
Right over here.
Hi, I'm going to start with Billy. My husband and I have been watching Eat the World, and we really love it. We love food, so to see you guys travel and your relationship and how much you're enjoying each other, it might be the Matterhorn, but was there a place while you guys were filming, you know, your go-to snack or your go-to place? What can you look back and like, that was your comfort food, like while you guys were filming the movies?
Yeah, there was a few places. Thanks for watching the show. We're having a great time making it. I would say Fidel's was a big one for breakfast.
Oh, yeah.
We always like going to Fidel's because you could really just hang out there for a couple of hours and good food and good coffee. So that's the place I would pick probably.
Is it still alive and going?
Yeah,
No,
Cuba Street.
No, it literally just in the last month that it's no longer Fidel's.
You keep telling us
What?
everything is closed because Elijah told me last night that the chocolate fish isn't gone.
Is it not?
No. He told us yesterday, oh, it's gone. It's gone.
I went and had lunch there, and the owner said they were going to have to shut their doors.
No, they're doing good.
They were just to you, mate.
They heard you've been stealing things.
Here comes their thief
I've got a
again.
saucepan. Okay.
That makes sense because Shane Rangi went in after me, and he was allowed to eat everything. So yeah, no, fair. No, it's fair.
All right, right here.
My question's for David. So, from the set to 300 and Lord of the Rings, which choreography did you prefer the most?
Oh, that's an interesting. Well, they're sort of different in a way, and the big difference really is on Lord of the Rings. Everything was real, whereas on 300, the only things that were real were the actual people, and it was 100% green screen. But all the fighting was completely real. In terms of fighting, it's just really different. Yeah, I can't say 300 when I'm sitting up here on stage. These guys.
Sorry, what was that, David?
Yeah, no, Lord of the Rings, without a doubt, the choreography of Lord of the Rings. Yeah, very, very different stuff and very different fighting styles as well. They're both great.
Both wonderful.
Yeah.
Better abs on.
Your role in 300 was much smaller though.
I know, but it was powerful.
Right over here. This gentleman had his hand raised.
All right, this question's for everybody. You guys can go down the line either way. I was just curious who the most fun to work with on the cast was, like throughout all the films for Lord of the Rings. So who's like your favorite person to film with, whether it's like Sir Ian McKellen or Sir
Miranda?
Christopher Lee while he was around?
David.
Oh, that's right.
That is a very dangerous question. One thing, this is not a specific person, but we were all in England together, or a group of us in England recently, and the thing that when I would come down to play that filled my heart with joy was seeing particularly you and Dom, but the wee hobbitses and Sir Ian, and it was so clear on stage the other day that they love each other in a way that is just so beautiful, and he adores you, and you all clearly just worship and adore him, and that relationship 25 years later is so beautiful to watch, and it's so naughty. It's like you're all naughty fucking children, terrible naughty children, and his eye twinkles, and that's my happiest sort of memory of that joy. And it was always on set too. You all brought that with you to play.
We were actually doing an interview the other day with Ian in The Hobbits, and Ian said that he didn't see himself as the leader sort of thing. He saw that as Aragorn, and he felt like he was one of the hobbits, really, just like a big hobbit, you know. And I love that. I think if I had to say, I'll need to say Dom, because he might watch one of your guys filming. But Dom does have this great energy that he's just always finding things to do, or, you know, any games that we play on set, he always started them. Or if we went somewhere at the weekend, he was always organising it. He's great to have around to kind of keep your energy up, you know.
He can organise the show.
He could do that. You're probably doing it now.
It's hard to pick anyone. I loved working with every single person because in New Zealand you don't get to work with the calibre of actors usually, or up to that point anyway, very often. And so we felt like we had the gift that kept on giving. Every time I look around, there'd be a new person that I'd seen on the silver screen that I admired coming to work with us. So it was like, you know, I didn't want it to end from that point. But I do have a story of someone that I probably overly loved. You should never go to sleep in the makeup chair. And I had a character called Shaku who had a 7.5 hour makeup, and all week I'd been going on about how I was going to get to work with Viggo, and Viggo does his own stunts, and Viggo does his own horse riding, and Viggo looks great in a wig, and men and women swoon over Viggo. And I went to sleep as they were painting the 9 layers of body paint on my back, and one of the makeup artists painted "I love Viggo" on my butt cheeks. We then took a photo and they put it in Viggo's trailer. So Viggo comes in at lunchtime and he says, "Hey man, can I have a word?" I'm like, "Sure." He says, "Listen man, you can like a man. You can even love a man. But don't paint it on your ass." And I thought, that's great advice. On the last day of shoot, he put the Polaroid in my trailer, and I was like, what is this? 20 years later, I'm telling, in The Rings of Power, I'm telling my makeup artist, Simon Rose, and I can hear this laughter down the end of the caravan, and a young man called Dan Perry goes, "Yeah, that was me. I painted that on your ass." Never go to sleep in the chair. But yeah, I mean, Viggo was he was so generous with everybody, and he was so great to fight with. But yeah, getting to be on set with Ian for that long was like a masterclass, and you as well, all of you. It was just, you can't really pick one. They're all so fabulous.
Sala?
The Ring.
This, like Jed said, we hadn't really gotten a lot of like big actors that came to New Zealand, and so once I've been a fan of villains my whole life, and so when Christopher Lee had come on set, you know, this was pre-Viggo, you know, a huge fan of Dracula and all of his films and all of the stuff that he had done before he had gotten to film. But to watch Orthanc Chamber with Christopher Lee and Ian McKellen just like go at it. It was like Jed said, watching a masterclass of two like great performers of theater and, you know, like the depths of it, just go at it. And it was like just doing it one. Yeah, then the fight, you know, happens, and it was just one of the coolest things that I'd ever seen. And then we had originally got Stuart Townsend to play Aragorn, and we had done training with him, with Jed and all the horse stuff, and then it didn't work out, and then they were going, who's gonna arrive? And we find out it's Viggo. And with the stunt, this is pre-me even becoming Sauron. This is just me starting as a stuntman in Queenstown. We met Viggo, and we played with him, and we fought with him, and he trained, and this guy walked in with no shoes. He had the sword on his scabbard, and we were like, who the hell? It's him, he's here. And he was the kindest human, and with us, Viggo became one of the stunt team. And because he did all the writing and with Jed and the guys, and we had this camaraderie, and you've seen in the behind the scenes, Viggo likes whiskey. And so we would go to this bar, and Viggo went up to the bar and said, can I have that? And they gave him a bottle of Jameson whiskey. They opened it, and he took one swig, gave it to me, headbutt us, and then you had to take a swig and pass it down, and he continued to headbutt every single one of us. And then as you've seen over the years, it's become a thing where when I saw him at the red carpet in Los Angeles, we would do it, and he was just like, he became one of us even though he was this guy, you know. We had issues with some stuff that was happening on set, and we had legal fees, and we all had to end up to pay for it, and then all of a sudden we were going to pay a lot of money each, and we went to pay it, and they said it's already been paid. And Viggo had,
and that was me.
And basically Viggo had paid for all of the stuntmen and women's legal fees. And he said he didn't want us to know about it. And so it just furthered the whole thing of him being such a great human and taking care of us, because we lived, breathed, died, teeth knocked out, head split open. Like, it was just like, he wasn't this actor, he was just this really great human that we could, you know, work with, play with, drink with, and hang out with. It became just one of the family that we all traveled again the country together. So long story, but yeah, that's basically.
All right, the last question of the panel, milady.
I know you guys, I've seen some of the blooper reels that you guys have had. Out of the whole panel, are there like any bloopers that you guys remember that you still giggle about today when you think about it? Of any specific actor or yourselves?
Because we all got that DVD with the blooper reels, but I didn't think, have any of those actually been released? I don't know, because when you're saying you saw the blooper reels, I wonder if it's any of that stuff. There's some very funny stuff in that.
There's so many.
My first day with Christopher Lee, I had these very big prosthetic teeth, and they had to glue them into my mouth. And I drank lots of coffee because I was so nervous about meeting him, and it melted the cement that held them in there. And he's supposed to say to me, "Are the wargs ready to attack?" And I'm supposed to respond, "Yes, my lord, they have tasted human flesh, they are ready to attack." But what I said was, "Ba-ba-dee." The teeth came out of my mouth, they flew through the air, and they hit him squarely in the forehead. And he turned to Peter and he said, "Has he finished? Is it my turn to talk?" And afterwards I was like, "I'm so sorry." And he went, No, when I played Dracula, first take I go to bite her neck, and when I came out, the teeth were stuck in her neck." So, yeah, that was the blooper of mine that's on the blooper reels.
All right, so before we go, I have to be selfish for like 10 seconds. And when I tell you why, I think everyone will be okay with it. Today is my youngest daughter's first birthday. And I will not see her until I get home to Knoxville tonight, very, very late. And her name is Parker. She's named after Spider-Man.
She's named after me.
Yes. And while she's not a fan of Lord of the Rings yet, one day I guarantee you that she will be, because I'm her father. So what I would like for everyone to do, please, is if I start a video, just one big happy birthday, Parker, so I can show her years from now and be cool forever, you know? And if you guys would be a part of it as well, that'd be awesome.
I think Billy Portugal is in a song. Yes.
That's up to you. You don't have to do that. But that's even better. Her name is Parker. Parker. Are we ready? Hang on. I'm not ready. All right, now I'm ready.
Start on you and do a reveal, bro.
Hey, happy birthday, Parker. We're going to sing you a song. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Parker. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you all so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, our amazing guests from Lord of the Rings. Thank you.
Thank you very much.